Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday. You are live with Sandra, and it's all about choices. And every Tuesday, I have the pleasure of dishing out your weekly dose of nutrition and wellness news for your mind and your body and your soul. I hope that you're having a wonderful day so far. I hope that your week is going well. And I thank you for tuning in with me every week. Those are my faithful followers. And I thank you for those who are take the time out to listen to the replay. Okay. I'm hoping that this is a lot of good information for you and as well as your family. And do not hesitate to share this video with someone that you feel would benefit most, because it's all about ironing, sharpening irons. We all can help each other out. We all can stay healthy and get strong and enjoy the journey. And so March Madness, week 2, all about your all-time favorite videos, your favorite topics that we're focusing on the month of March, those that you love the most, you had the most engagement, you responded to, and so we're bringing it back by popular demand. And so today, the all-important fun topic of gluten-free. I still hear people say, if they're, especially if it's like a party or something, oh, that has gluten in it, oh, that doesn't have gluten in it. And for many reasons, that is very important. And so we're going to talk about gluten-free a little bit more, just to make sure we really know how to divide those lines as to, do you really need gluten-free, or do you really need to not go gluten-free? Is it really healthier? Does it help weight loss? Does it hinder weight loss? Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit more, right? And so more and more individuals are going gluten-free as a means of eating healthier, okay? Some gluten-free, they go gluten-free to reduce bloating or to jumpstart weight loss. So is that necessary? Is that really necessary to do? Is it accurate? What do you think? Okay, what is your stance on this topic? So tune in, stay tuned as I set the record straight on when to go on a gluten-free diet. Why does it even exist? Why do we even have gluten-free as an option? And to give insight as to how to identify good gluten-free choices, all right? And so for those who do not know who I am, I'm Sandra Goldtree. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I am a certified personal trainer and your friendly accountability partner. Yes, I am friendly. And so my mission is to show people how to get food to work for you instead of working against them or thinking that food is working against them. Food is not the enemy. Carbs is not the enemy. And so I take joy in providing a variety of different food choices. Instead of restricting and taking away, I'm going to give you stuff. I'm going to give you stuff so that you can lose weight, so that you can keep it off, so that you can control the cravings, so that you can feel better without dieting, without deprivation. It's about a lifestyle change, and it's a process, okay? And so it's a journey, and it's all about breaking food strongholds, and it's about building a lifestyle of care, all right? And so for those who are just tuning in, please say hello to me. I love for this to serve as a two-way form of communication. So reach out to me. I will respond to you. So definitely share comments, questions, aha moments, ouch, oh, I need to work on that. Share whatever. This is a no judgment zone, all right? So we are tuning in with, it's all about your favorite topics for the month of March. So bringing back all of your favorites, or some of your favorites, right? I can only do like 4, right? I started the end of February, so I got an extra one in there. So we're going to have 5 topics in total of some of the favorites that you all had said that you would like to hear more about. Again, so we're going to talk about gluten-free. Is gluten-free the healthier way to eat? And does it promote weight loss? Does it? That's the question. So here is my first question for you. Have you ever went gluten-free? Okay. Do you currently eat gluten-free, or have you ever tried to go gluten-free? Okay. Maybe you did it to eat healthier. Maybe somebody advised, hey, go gluten-free, you'll feel better, or it'll help you lose weight. So if you did that, say yes. Or if you've never tried to go gluten-free, then say no. Okay? All right. And so as a quick segue in, like I had mentioned before last week, we are in the third week of the third month of the year is what I'm trying to say. We are in March. Have you been consistent with sticking to strategies designed to actually help you to lose weight and feel better and keep it off? Okay. Are you still holding on to those resolutions? I like to say goals. I like to say plans. But here we are, third month in. So is 2024 your year to get healthier, to really like ditch the plateau or get past that plateau? Okay. So I have a 5-day meal plan that can help you to do that at no charge. So it's designed to help you to lose weight, help you to feel your best, help you to increase your energy levels, and to reduce your time in the grocery store as well as cooking. So check it out. I'm going to give more details about it a little bit later, but if you have to jump off, here's how you can take a sneak peek. It's www.actionchoices.com/jumpstart. So 5 days of meals, okay? So you can do it in its entirety, or you can pick and choose things that just jump at you, but you're going to have it all laid out for you, okay? Lay it out. So let's jump into the topic, okay? So let's start with defining what gluten is, okay? So let's define what gluten is and where is it and where it's found. So let's start there. Start with the basics. So gluten-free. So gluten-free is a collective term for proteins that are found in grains like wheat and rye and barley and triticale, okay? And so that gives baked goods their doughy, their elastic structure, okay? And so sometimes gluten is found in oats, especially when they're produced in a facility that includes gluten products, because naturally oats should not have gluten in it. However, if it's produced, like I said, on machines that are producing some of the other ones I named, the rye, the barley, and things like that, then we call it cross-contamination, okay? But otherwise, naturally, oats are gluten-free. And then you have gluten is also used as a thickening agent. So it's used to enhance and it's also used to enhance the flavor of foods. So there's reasons for gluten, okay? When is it recommended? So let's talk about that. Let me give you that one. So when is it recommended? So a gluten-free diet is recommended for people with celiac or with a gluten sensitivity or some skin disorders, okay? And so, but these are very specific. These are doctor diagnosed, not people diagnosed or self-diagnosed, okay? And optionally, sometimes there's an autoimmune condition that results as a chronic itching and skin rash. So that's the skin disorder that I'm talking about, okay? And it's called dermatitis. It's called herpetodenormis. So you have to look that up. You can Google it. All right, and so a gluten-free diet may be helpful for some people with irritable bowel syndrome as well, okay? So this is on a case-by-case basis, okay? So this is nothing that you should self-diagnose and think that you feel better. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I feel better when I go gluten-free, but again, that kind of goes on the same lines as when people say they feel better when they cut out meat and they cut out all these other things and go more vegan, but you don't think about what did you introduce that you didn't have before. So usually people are eating more vegetables than they did not do that before. They're eating more fruits. They did not do that before. They cut out a bunch of junk and highly processed foods, and they replace it with more whole foods. So you got to look at the whole picture, okay? So beyond this, there is very little evidence that gluten-free diet offers any particular health benefits, okay? So it's designed to help worsen or help lessen, to not worsen a situation that's already in place, like celiac or some type of gluten sensitivity. So it is designed to help in those cases. But if you're already healthy and those are not issues, then it's not going to provide any additional health benefit. This is what that means. All right, so surprised? Are you surprised to learn that gluten acts as a thickening agent or it acts to enhance foods? Okay, most of us know gluten as a wheat protein. Okay, so you're surprised by that. So I know because of the gluten-free stigma, we think that gluten-free is some horrible thing or gluten is some horrible thing, but it really is not. Okay, but it can impact somebody who has, like I said, celiac or some kind of gluten sensitivity, but that is not the bulk of us. Okay, so why? Let's talk about the why. Let's talk about the why. So why does gluten-free even exist? So the term gluten-free has become yet another popular fad diet, and many have jumped on the bandwagon, right? And I hear from my new clients that, oh, I went gluten-free in order to lose weight. But the fact is gluten-free is medically necessary for those that are diagnosed by a physician with, like I said, celiac or non-celiac sensitivity or wheat allergies, okay? So these are certain specific tests that are run to make sure, okay? And so individuals diagnosed with celiac must follow a gluten-free diet in order to, due to the immune response that happens and it causes damage to the lining of their small intestines as a result of GI distress, and certain vitamins and minerals not being absorbed, and that leads to nutritional deficiencies. So they must stay away because it will cause them a lot of discomfort, okay? And it will, like I said, break down the lining of the small intestines. Those with non-celiac gluten sensitivity or a wheat allergy generally will just have the GI pain, and they will have many of the related distresses. However, there's no damage being done to the lining of the small intestine. So it's a big difference. So they're still feeling discomfort, but they're not messing with the villi and the intestinal and the small intestine lining, which will prevent food from or nutrients from absorbing in the body. Okay? A little bit of science there. And so the takeaway message from all of that, what I just said, is GI distress or pain from wheat products. If you're experiencing that, get tested. Okay, get tested to see what's going on. Do not self-diagnose. Okay, is it non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or is it celiac itself, or is it something else altogether? Okay, so that's what we really need to determine. Obtain proper testing from a medical doctor to avoid introducing even more nutritional deficiency, hence more GI and immune and inflammatory issues. Okay, so more on this is coming. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that when they go gluten-free, there are a lot of nutrients that are stripped, okay, and that need to get replaced. And a lot of times people don't know that, and so those nutrients don't get replaced, and so therefore additional problems are caused. So we want to make sure you're doing that. And then when you're doing it, then you need to know how to eat properly, okay, on top of that. All right. So problems with going gluten-free as a fad diet, okay? Let's talk about that. So the issue is many people self-diagnose themselves and or they feel that eating gluten-free relieves their GI stress, okay? So that just means there's some other things going on. Without being tested, it's a hit or miss. So we want to make sure that we're tested, that we're really doing the right thing for our body. So some use gluten-free as a means for weight loss, okay? There's absolutely no evidence, okay? I will repeat. There's absolutely no evidence that support eating gluten-free is related to weight loss, okay? The key nutrients are removed and must be monitored when eating gluten-free. And so such as folate, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, because most wheat products are enriched with these vitamins, okay? And so this is the reason eating a diet rich in whole grains, fruits and vegetables, low-fat, non-fat dairy, and unsaturated fats, I call it our heart-healthy fats, are important to avoid nutritional deficiencies unless it is medically contraindicated, okay? So all of that being said, do you know that there are vital nutrients stripped when you go gluten-free? See, a lot of people don't know that one, is more expensive to go gluten-free, and two, not all gluten-free products taste the best. I don't know if you noticed that. The taste is not on the same playing field, okay? And so on top of that, so you don't want to do it again unless you absolutely have to do it, okay? And so many are unaware that gluten-free is free of important nutrients, okay? It's stripped of many nutrients and then it restricts carbs, and then on top of that, you'll restrict carbs and calories to further increase your nutritional deficiency. So that leads into additional complications. So we want to make sure that we're only going down the gluten-free route unless it is medically necessary. That if you don't take anything away from today, that is what you take away, okay? We don't want to trial gluten-free just to see how it goes, okay? We don't want to do that. All right, so before jumping into some sources of gluten-free foods, I want to discuss with you more in detail about the 5-day jump, okay? Especially if you've been dieting after diet after diet and you're frustrated, you're disappointed, you feel like you're just not getting there. Your body's not even responding anymore to the diet. So you're just kind of stuck. And so this is where my 5-day meal plan Jumpstart will help you out. It will kind of help wake up that metabolism. It'll help boost your weight loss. It'll help boost your energy levels. It'll basically boost your nutrient intake, which is really a good thing. So they'll give you the surge of energy. Of course, we want to accompany that with adequate sleep, but you will find yourself depending less on sugar and caffeine, okay? False energy is what we call it as dietitians. And so we want to get the benefits of eating delicious meals, snacks. We want to keep the cravings at bay. You'll be able to have an option to see how whole grains are put to work, how protein is really put to work, how the different fats and the different seeds and all these things are put to good use. And if there's something that maybe you don't like or you're allergic to, intolerances, then there are substitutions available. So rest assured with that, okay? And this is another great way to boost your body's natural detoxification system with powerhouse foods. So all the juicing and all the different things that I see people do, they take 1,000 different supplements, all these things, not necessary. Okay, food is your number one supplement, and it's the best way to boost everything to give your body to step into your highest level of health. And that's really what food is for, right? All right. And so to obtain that, let me put up the banner for that. You go to www.actionchoices.com/jumpstart to grab your copy. And I love feedback. So feel free to give me feedback, comments, suggestions, etc. So I really am confident that you will enjoy it. And most importantly, you'll feel very surprised about all the options that you have. And this will give you a taste of what is that process? We talk about planning and prepping all the time. That's a daunting word for a lot of people because they feel like they don't have time or they don't know how to do it. So this is a way to step-by-step guide you. How do you prep? How do you have that stuff ready to go and grab? So when you come home from a long day, you don't have to, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? It's already there ready for you. And you don't have to prep a whole 5 days on a Sunday afternoon. Okay. So that's the beauty of it too. So you will have things stagger. So you will really get a good feel of how it feels to, oh, wow, I have my stuff together. I don't have to worry about this. I just grab this. So take advantage of that. That's a really good introduction on planning and prepping in how easy it really is. Okay. All right. So let's get into some gluten-free food sources. All right. So common grain, starches, or flours can be part of a gluten-free diet. Okay, so some common stuff are typically arrowroot, buckwheat, millet, corn. So like grits and polenta and things like that are naturally gluten-free. Flax, you have gluten-free flours like rice and soy and corn, potatoes. You even have bean flours. Quinoa, okay, that's a powerhouse grain. We do regard it as a grain, but it is gluten-free. You have rice, like wild rice. You have soy. So these are some naturally gluten-free. So marketing is funny. Okay, so a lot of these times these foods are marketed as gluten-free. And so people think that they really did something to these foods, and so it makes them healthier, when in many cases they're already naturally gluten-free. So you have some things that just come gluten-free naturally. And then some additional foods. Let's talk about some additional foods that I think are probably we don't think about it as much. And so and this is when marketing gets funny, because you will see gluten-free tag on these foods, but they're already naturally gluten-free. So they really didn't remove anything or do anything to the food. It was never there in the first place, such as meat, poultry, fish. Okay. Unless you have it breaded or it's marinated in something, but when it's in its natural form, these foods are already naturally gluten-free. So marketing that does not really mean anything, right? Eggs are naturally gluten-free. Fresh fruits and vegetables, naturally gluten-free. There's no gluten there. There's nothing to pull out. And then legumes, like your beans, your peanuts, things like that, naturally gluten-free. Okay. And many dairy products, okay, when they're in their low-fat, fat-free, natural form, they are gluten-free. Okay. So therefore, when you see packaging boast that they're gluten-free, then it's just marketing hype. Okay. They didn't really do anything. It was never there to begin with. So the food naturally does not have it. And we should include all of these foods that I just named into your eating pattern along with the other pieces. So again, there's no one magical food. If there was, I'd eat it. We'd all eat it, right? All right. And so next question. Have you purchased a particular food because the labeling said gluten-free? Okay. And of course, it's probably going to have other things on the label too, other than gluten-free. But have you actually saw something that said gluten-free and you was like, oh, let me grab this, I'm trying to, make better choices, change how my shopping cart looks when I'm in the store. Be honest if you have done that. Okay. And we're not talking about the ones who have celiac and the ones who have the non-celiac sensitivity. So we're talking about those who are just doing it. Okay. So tell the truth. So if you have, post you have, say that you have been drawn to that, because there's usually some marketing tag that draws us. For some people, it's fat-free, it's sugar-free, it's non-GMO, it's something that jumps at you. Cholesterol-free. Oh yes, definitely. That's a big one for those who are on cholesterol meds. That's not necessarily, the way that we need to go. Okay. That's another topic though. All right. So post I have if you have. All righty. And so the big takeaway, so there's another topic here that I want to talk about here. So gluten-free choices combined with other food groups. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. So recapping our gluten-free choices include naturally gluten-free foods, such as, like we said, the meats, the dairy, the vegetables, the fruit, some gluten-free grains, and healthy fats. And so it is important to not replace gluten-containing foods with more red meat, especially fatty cuts, or full-fat dairy, or more starchy vegetables, or more sweets, or more unhealthier fats, okay? Because this can lead to a higher intake of cholesterol, saturated fats, and sodium, and unwanted calories. So we don't want to replace things, okay? So this is where we got to learn how to utilize our 5 food groups, but we'll staying within your body's calorie needs. And so it's pertinent to limit commercially prepared gluten-free products. Think about the snacks. I think that's a big one. I've had many people who will buy muffins, cookies, cake, whatever, because this is gluten-free. Okay. So that doesn't have any bearing on calories, and it depends on how it's made, right? So we want to be careful of the highly processed commercially snacks and bakery and stuff like that, because they're typically high in refined carbs, fat, sugar, salt. So the calories and fat are still there, okay, in many cases. So we just want to watch it, because it's going to be replaced with something, because it needs to taste good, otherwise you won't buy it, right? Okay. So the big takeaway, the bottom line is, if you don't need to go gluten-free, if you don't have a medical reason, the doctor diagnosed, then gluten is not your enemy. Okay. So staying away from gluten is not going to solve too much of anything if that's truly not the issue. Okay. If it's not an issue with gluten absorption or something, or going on with your intestines where you need to eat gluten-free. So there is no health benefit in ordering from the gluten-free menu at restaurants or purchasing gluten-free products at the grocery store if it is not medically necessary. Okay. That is the biggest takeaway, okay, from this. So get tested. If you are having a lot of GI problems and you just cannot figure out what it is, I encourage you to get tested. Go to your doctor. They'll probably have to give you a referral to go to a GI specialist, but really find out what's going on, rather than just kind of throwing darts at it, okay? Because they can cause other problems. So remember to download my 5-day meal plan, clean eating, fun eating, designed to help you to jumpstart your weight loss, as well as boost your energy levels, okay? And this has a lot of great heart healthy options, and also just to boost your overall optimizing your overall body systems, okay? Fast, easy recipes. You have an itemized grocery list. You also have a prep guide to help you every step of the way. If you do have a medically diagnosed gluten sensitivity, then you want to substitute some of the grains that are in the plan, okay? Of course, oats, you want to make sure it says gluten-free. Even though they're naturally gluten-free, we want to make sure that they are gluten-free, because it does have oats in there. So make sure that is the case. And then otherwise, ask me, reach out if you have any questions. If there's a grain on there that you're wondering, what does it have gluten in it? Okay. And I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. And so thank you for tuning in. This is all that I have for you this week. We're going to continue on our series of your favorite topics for the March Madness. And it's all about creating a lifestyle of change. And we are breaking food strongholds. We're going to continue next week. We're going to talk about processed foods. And what does that really mean? Are all processed foods bad for you? Do they really hinder weight loss? Is there such thing as cutting out processed foods? I think that's a big one. I hear a lot of people say, well, I stopped eating processed foods. Is that true? Tune in next week to find out, so I can help straighten that up for you as well. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. I will watch the thread. So if things come up as you are watching the replay, do not hesitate to post. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Be blessed. And I'll see you next week.